Hello and welcome to ESO Creators number 9. So today we're going to be visiting another 3 homes by Spellslinger on the NA server. Hello Spellslinger.
Hello, hello.
I asked you this last time, but how long have you been playing the game?
And again, still a somewhat difficult question. I played all the way back in the beta, and then played for a few months, I think. Then I stopped playing, and I came back for one Tamriel, and I've had a couple of breaks since then. But yeah, basically played since one Tamriel.
Yeah. And aside from housing, what else do you do?
Role playing. That's basically all I do.
Yeah. And this house is the Hall of the Lunar Champion?
It is indeed.
Okay. And is there anything you want to say about it before we go and have a look?
Mostly that it's probably my least well thought out house and the house that I've made the quickest. But hopefully it's alright anyway. It is an arena or a fighting pit or whatever you want to call it. And I've always wanted to build something like that, so let's see how I've managed to do.
Yeah, I love the carpets on these stairs. They look amazing.
Yeah. I had this problem because it's actually very difficult to find a house if you want to make a pit in this house, in this game. Because there are very few houses that have stairs leading down into the house. Usually the entrance is like the lowest point of the house and you have to go up to get anywhere. So in order to make a pit, you first have to go up so that you can then go down.
Yeah.
But that essentially means that this room is a little bit of a waste of space, so I just felt like I had to do something to make it a little bit less boring.
Yeah, it looks great.
So the real house begins through those doors, so please go ahead.
Okay. This is just so amazing. What inspired you to build a fighting club?
Mostly it's one of my role-playing characters who has a background as an arena gladiator. And for the longest time I've wanted to build like a proper Roman Colosseum, but that's slightly above my skill level, I think.
I'm sure it's not.
And also there just aren't enough open space houses to really build these massive, big, open projects without tearing down some of my old ones. And I just love all my old ones and I can't tear anything down. So I decided to make something a little bit more small and confined instead.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, underground fighting pit, probably with a criminal side to it, because why not?
It's weird because this room looks huge with all of this stuff in.
It does. It looks so small when it's empty. It's one of the really funny things about this house. I've seen this from other people's builds too. It's like when you put stuff in here, you suddenly realize that wow, it's actually quite huge.
Yeah.
So you've got the pit in the middle.
Yeah.
And off to the side, you've got a little skooma den because you obviously need that. I must say, it's not shown from its best side once you go inside because, the clipping of the curtains and stuff.
Yeah, although these curtains actually look really cool like that. Like with 2 together, it's like boxed in.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
Yeah, some friends of mine thought that I should make a... sorry, I've lost a word now. Anyways, they thought I should build more stuff in that direction, but I just lost patience.
No, I think it looks cool anyway. It's where people sit and get like high on moon sugar whilst watching the fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Someone suggested that I should build a brothel over in that side of the place to just complete the... and, I mean, a part of me definitely wanted to do that, but I didn't really know where to start, so maybe next time.
I really like how you use the Argonian bookshelves along here. It looks great.
Yeah, they worked way better than expected. And
It-
at first, I was mostly just going to have the fence up here for the announcer or whatever, um, because obviously otherwise he's just going to fall straight into the pit. And I have a feeling you do not want to fall straight into the pit, logically speaking. But then
Yeah.
these fences just looked so lonely when it was just them there, so I had to fence in the whole thing.
It looks almost like spikes as well.
Yeah,
Like you wouldn't really want to fall on them.
yeah. Yeah, it's to make sure people don't climb into the pit. Be careful and responsible, people. Do not jump into the pit.
It's really great. It feels like really atmospheric in here. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was another thing. Is I think part of what makes this place feel big is that it's confined. That feels kind of counterintuitive, but you've got the scale of it, that you have this confined space downstairs and you also have the upstairs. And especially when you're standing in the stands, or when you're standing in the pit, which I'm sure we'll do later,
Yeah.
it sort of gives this feeling that there's a lot of stuff going on. And obviously, yes, we have gambling here.
What's this gold pile? This isn't the one we got. The collection one, is it? Is it the one from the Thieves
It's
Guild?
a pile of dubious riches, and I think that was in one of the crown crates. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, okay. Oh
double
yeah,
check
I
on
kind of
that.
think I remember that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that was from the Bandari Peddler crown crate.
Mm.
For 100 gems or a lot of luck, whichever you have the most of.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame that they don't bring back the crown crates more often, as I would totally buy them.
Yeah, definitely. They should cycle them a bit more often.
Shall we go upstairs?
Yep.
You go first, you're the one with the camera, and I'm sure you
Okay.
want to see the house and not my character. So this is what I imagine to be like the slightly fancier upper class portion of the Fight Club, when you don't want to hang around with the dregs downstairs. So you come up here for a drink with a friend and some underhanded dealings or whatever it is you do in the totally legal Fight Club.
Oh, it's so cool. Did it take you a long time to build this? You said you did it quite quickly, but how quickly?
Yeah, this was actually completed in less than a week, I think. It
Wow.
was, yeah, like the original concept of it was basic. Like the most difficult part of this was honestly where to place the pit. Because the Lunar Champion, like, it's mostly a big open room, but it then has a couple of quirks around. Like, you know, those stands where you're supposed to place the books to open up the other parts to the Lunar Champion.
Oh yes, where are they?
Yeah, they are not here. But obviously I had to build around those in a couple of ways. And I'll tell you, one of them is inside the infirmary that we'll see later, so remind me of that later. And I'll tell you where it is.
Okay.
But basically, it was quite the art of placing the pit in such a way that it wouldn't reveal either those things, and also this gigantic light thing up in the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Which, and that's behind the pit. That's over in that direction over there.
Okay.
So, where the ceiling is obviously lower, because I didn't want that thing to show.
Yeah. And these big giant pillars as well. They're part of the house too, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I would rather not have them, honestly, but they're okay.
Yeah, they're fine. I love this bar. It's such a cool idea with the, are they bookcases behind the kegs?
No, those are the Redguard counters.
Ah,
You know, those bar islands, but they're
yeah.
turned on their sides, obviously.
Mm.
And I'm using 3 of them, even though it looks like 5. But
Really?
each individual piece of the Redguard counter has like 2 of those sections, so I only had to use
Oh.
3.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah, it does look like 5.
Yeah, but one of them obviously clips into the other.
Mm.
And I'll also just give credit to a friend of mine who originally came up with this idea. But it's like, I think a couple of my friends are really creative, but not quite as familiar with the housing editor as I am. So they come up with these really great ideas, and they fall slightly short of bringing it to life because they don't know what they have to work with. So I just steal inspiration from them and use all of my free time.
This is a really cool bar.
That's just Dark Elf, regular stuff.
Mm.
I think one of the worst things about the Dark Elf bar that some people who are new to the housing editor miss when they do it is the collision on this thing is wrong. It's slightly wrong. As you can see, the corners of the Dark Elf counters are higher than the inside of it, but the collision box is flat. So if you just place things on top of this and don't pay attention, you will have a whole bunch of slightly floating objects.
Oh.
And it's very annoying. So you'll have to move them down just a couple of pixels to make it look right.
Yeah. There are a few items like that, actually, aren't there, that make things fly?
Yeah,
Quite
yeah, I
strange.
think there are. So you, yeah, gotta pay attention, make sure that doesn't happen. But especially walls. I think walls are actually the worst. Like, the number of times you've seen paintings floating slightly off the wall because someone just used regular collision and thought it would be fine, but it wasn't.
Because walls tend to be bigger at the bottom for some reason in this game, don't they, than the top?
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes they're just, you know, the collision box is just bigger than the wall in general. It's very odd.
Is this
So, yeah.
actual ceiling of the Lunar Champion above us?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So this is how big the place actually is. Well,
Yeah.
minus my fake floor, obviously.
Okay, so it's from all the way from this bar to over there.
Oh, it's bigger than that on the side. It's my own walls in both directions, so that's bigger. But height-wise, the fighting pit is just essentially where the floor is.
Yeah.
And all the way to the top.
It is really tall. I can imagine loads of people are going to start building in this little room.
But they should. It's also very good for the simple fact that the Lunar Champion Hall has 700 slots. So
That's
you
true.
really don't have to worry about slots all that much when you decorate this place.
How many have you used out of 700?
I've only used 537 out of 700, so I
Wow.
have plenty to go.
Yeah, that's great.
And I've also done some stuff that I really would never do in other builds because of these slots. I mean, the stairs were an obvious example. They use, well, 1 carpet per step, which is kind of ridiculous if you have a slot constriction. But you
Yeah.
also have these carpets here. The carpet that you're standing on, this one, this is a single Almalexia runner, turned upside down because I wanted it to just be green and not
Yeah.
have the Almalexia thing. This, however, are 2 carpets that are clipped into each other.
Ah, you're amazing at doing that. I could never do that.
It's very easy, EHT. Maybe at one point I'll actually do my own videos with EHT lessons to show you my favorite tricks.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah, this is 2 carpets, this is 1 carpet. These are 2 carpets again.
Like, you'd never guess this was 2 carpets. It just looks like one.
Some carpets in this game are very seamless and others are not.
Mm.
You'd have to watch very closely on this one to see where the seam is. I can see it just about, but that's mostly because I know it's there.
Mm.
This one is just one carpet. Alright, enough talking about carpets. This will
Okay.
never be done. So I'm gonna head into the back room. Which is, of course, where you can... I mean, there are 3 ways in. There are 2 doors, one on each side, and they lead to the same place. And there's also the tunnel that goes underneath here, which is for the fighters. So you go in here. Oh, and you might also notice if you put your cursor over the door that it says open.
Yeah.
Which is because I wanted those 2 doors to be perfectly mirrored, so I just swapped this one around.
Yeah.
So it opens when it closes and closes when it opens. Slightly confusing, but there you go.
That must have been really hard to like get in the right angle.
Not too hard. It was... I mean, the precision editor is a huge quality of life, really. It
Yeah.
makes these sort of things so much easier. And you can also use the fact that, the floor here have these perfect lines that you can just follow.
Oh yeah, that's true. This is so cute. I love that punching bag.
I might have overused it at this point, but it's just cute.
Yeah, it is, and so is the target. I mean, they're both just really cute.
Yeah, so my idea is here is where the fighters both wait for their turn to go into the pit and also do their warm-up exercises.
Yeah.
Hopefully don't punch each other while they're at it.
And what was it you used for the sand?
The sand is, let's see, a boulder withered desert, which is, it's a boulder. I think it's crown exclusive, but it's only like 50 crowns, so it's not too bad.
It really
no.
it does look like sand. It's great.
Am I being careless again? Oops. You saw nothing.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's just such a cool idea. I've never seen anybody else make anything like this.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and we were talking about those things where the tablets are supposed to go. One of them is right behind this wall. It's a couple of blocks behind it.
Yeah.
So this room is basically as big as it can get without encountering that thing.
Yeah.
And another one is behind that wall over there.
Yeah.
And the third one is inside the infirmary here, underneath the surgeon's table.
Really?
Yep. It's, I'm currently standing on it.
That's cool.
So that's really a building around the thing. So that table has to be right there. I can't move it. There are no other options.
It looks great. I like all of the instruments.
Yeah.
This whole alchemy area is really cool.
Yeah, that was some inspiration of a build I saw on the forum with someone who made a clinic, and I'm actually not that great with alchemy and stuff, because it's a kind of messy thing, and I'm the sort of builder who likes straight lines and structured things, so in a way I think that's what this project was for me. It was my attempt to make something slightly less structured and rigid. Just throw something together. Obviously, I couldn't resist the impulse to make straight lines here and there anyway, but that's how it goes.
This is one of the antiquities.
Yes, the Moth Priest cleansing bowl. One of the few things with water in it, and I think it works very well as a sink.
Yeah, it does. What have you used for the tap?
The tap is a keg. I think it's the Redguard keg. There are a couple of kegs in the game, and they all have similar sort of taps to them that you can sink into walls and use as taps. But the tap tends to be slightly different color, and this is the Redguard keg. I could just as well have used a keg from maps. I probably couldn't actually, because those clip out longer.
Yeah, it's cool.
Some people also use the clockwork keg. Those work pretty well too.
Yeah, this is amazing. This whole build is like...
Thank you.
I just don't really know what else to say. It's just amazing. I love it.
I also had some fun making these ingredients on a paper. Because, I mean, there are a whole lot of giant mushrooms in this game, but small mushrooms, not so much.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw those, actually.
Yeah, you know, there are a couple of small mushroom groups, and I then had to twist and turn them around a whole lot so that only one mushroom would show. So the rest of them are just hidden in the wall on the counter and such.
Yeah. Is that like the contract you've got them on?
It's a bounty sheet.
Oh, okay.
The contract has that
yeah.
seal on the back, but the bounty contract works just fine.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Everything's like really placed really nicely on there. It looks great.
You know me, neat and tidy.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I promised we'd go into the pits.
Yes.
So let's do that. Welcome to the arena. We have our two fighters, Alara Northwind and Spellslinger. Let the best man, mer, woman win.
This is amazing. Like, it just looks great from down here. It really does feel like you can imagine loads of people standing around up there.
Yeah. I brought a friend in here, and he said that he found standing here was very intimidating. That's probably the best compliment I could get.
Yeah, it does feel like that, yeah.
You know the scene from Gladiator where the camera spins around him and he's looking at the crowd?
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping to capture down here.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you.
I love
Okay, shall we move on to the next house?
Okay, yeah. I think I'm gonna have to buy some of these boulders.
Yeah, they do look really nice as sand. They really do. Okay, for the next house is the complete opposite of the last one. This is the house of overthinking and planning and rebuilding and remodeling and spending months and months.
Oh.
The inspiration for this one, I sent you a picture that I hope you'll be editing into the video to show right about now.
Yeah, I shall.
And that picture is art for a project called Tamriel Rebuilt. And Tamriel Rebuilt takes quite a bit of explaining. If I say Morrowind, most of the people watching here will probably think of the province of Morrowind or the chapter, ESO Morrowind. Now, ESO Morrowind was released on June the 6th, 2017. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind part of the main Elder Scrolls games was released in 2002. And in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the only part of Morrowind, the province of Morrowind, that you could actually visit was the island of Vardenfell. Now, Tamriel Rebuilt is an incredibly ambitious project by a bunch of modders who have worked basically since Morrowind released, I think. So, for over 15 years now, to bring back mainland, or bring back, it was never there, but to bring mainland Morrowind into the Elder Scrolls 3. So, they have tried to maintain the spirit of Morrowind, but they've basically created a whole bunch of things just from scratch that were never in the game and that no one else has ever imagined. And this is the concept art that they made for House Dress, Great House Dress. For those of you who don't know, in Morrowind there are 5 great houses: House Hlaalu, Redoran, Telvanni, Indoril, and House Dress, who have slightly different themes and ways of being. And this is, as I said, what Tamriel Rebuilt people, imagined that House Dress would look like. And we don't have the House Dress capital tier in Elder Scrolls Online either. So this is, unexplored territory, and I just wanted to see if I could try and bring something similar to the game. So that's what this project is all about.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm on my way
Also,
to you.
Shout out to Favelin, who is the artist who made this amazing concept art. And I have been promised that link to his stuff will be in the description.
Yes, I shall put it in the description.
Sweet.
It's a really interesting idea to use art that's not exactly in the game to make it a
Yeah.
house.
Well, I just really admire the Morrowind the Tamriel Rebuilt people a whole lot, because they are, like me, I think, they really, really appreciate Morrowind lore and just want to bring that alive. And I am a huge lore nerd when it comes to Morrowind. I think it's all super interesting. So I take most of my inspiration from either history or from Morrowind lore, and sometimes they kind of blend together. Like, I don't know, history, lore, whatever, same thing. It's all up for grabs.
Wow, the entrance is like really imposing. It's great. So what is this house? Is it a house or is it something different?
This house is a house dress estate or clanstead sort of thing. It's part farm and part stronghold, I would say. So you come in through this rather heavily fortified gate, and then you move out into the homestead. This is one of my fake doors, and it has an EHT portal that leads to the third and final house that we'll visit, so we'll get to see what I would like to pretend is through that door.
Nice.
But spoilers, it's the guardhouse. Then you come out here and you see the main building.
That is just amazing. I see why that took you so long. It's incredible. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
I think that's another interesting thing about Dunmer architecture in general, I think, is it tends to be slightly slanted. You can see that the walls are slightly slanted and slightly askew, nothing is straight, and it really does a whole lot for like the way you look at it. And I started out making the walls straight just because it was easier to build that way, and then I sort of slanted them afterwards, and that's really when the build came alive.
Yeah. Looks just amazing.
So it's built in Coldharbour, which has some advantages and some disadvantages. The big advantage, obviously, is that it's a very big and flat field. So you can really build whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about building around weird bits of terrain too much.
Yeah.
And also the grassy bits here are very discreet, so I could use tall grass to make a hopefully fairly convincing wheat field.
Yeah, it looks great. How many slots have you used in this place?
This one currently uses 683,
Mm.
and I think it's just part of my personality that I need to have a couple of slots spare just in case I suddenly realize that I need to add something else. I just need to have that little bit of extra space just in case.
Mm. Yeah.
It's like a compulsion. So you got a little dwarf shed here, and
Oh.
for those who saw the last creator video that I did with you, Lara, you'll probably recognize the style.
Oh yeah, these are the upside down sheds, are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Upside down Plalu sheds with the Argonian canopy.
Yeah, they look great. It's a really cool idea to make a stable. I guess it doesn't use that many slots either.
Yeah, it's very slot efficient, which is honestly why I did it in the first place. But it also looks good, which helps.
Yeah, it does. This place is just incredible.
Thank you.
It is.
So you got the fields, the second field, the little cart here because we want to pretend that there's farming activity going on. And some wires. Actually, you might not have permissions to open gates here, do you?
I don't know. Wait, there, I've got my UI turned off.
Oh, you do? Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I have it set to limited visitor by default because I don't want people fiddling with my lights.
Yeah. That is annoying when people do that.
It really is.
Or when people leave your doors open.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another reason that I actually built, you see the gatehouse here now.
Mm.
And I built, you might recognize that from the fan art too. I took heavy inspiration there.
Mm.
Like, if I want to just close people out of this house completely, I just close the gate. That's it.
Yeah.
There are still ways to get in, admittedly, and I know some of them, but, you know, for the less super dedicated people, all I need to do is close the gate.
What are the sky shards for?
Yeah, that's a good question. For that, we need to go over here.
Okay.
You see that I've used sky shards to create what some people would like to call an electric fence. That's generally what most people say that it looks like. It's not. It's not an electric fence. This is Tamriel. But it is, however, a ghost fence.
Okay.
If you've read a lore book called Ancestors and the Dunmer, you might recognize this. It doesn't describe ghost fence completely in the ESO version, but in the Morrowind version of the lore book, it talks about ghost fences. And what that essentially is the Dark Elves create some sort of enchantments on the bones of their ancestors to turn them into guardians and to power this essentially protective field that they can then place around their ancestor shrines and around the borders of their estates.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking it was like, you know, you get those like light puzzles in the game. I was thinking it was something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is a protective field. And I actually tried to read up a little bit on it, and I'm pretty sure I've stretched the lore a little bit on that. But also as a role player, I haven't actually used this house for roleplay yet, unfortunately. But I also built it with roleplay in mind, and a lot of the time, people will ask in roleplay, hey, is there a ward on this place, or can I teleport in and out the way I want? And now I have this here, and I can say, yeah, there is a ward on this place, just look around you. I don't have to... no one has to doubt.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a very cool idea.
Big glowy shrine. Oh, we weren't quite done out here yet. Still had a couple more things to do. Here is a whipping stand, because of course we're house dress, who are the lords of agriculture and slavery. Lovely people. It does make for interesting stories, but never ever kid yourselves into thinking that house dress are nice people, because they're just not. They are not.
I love how you've got like other little buildings on the other side of the wall. Makes it
Ah,
feel
yeah.
like there's more beyond.
Yeah, yeah. Because Cold Harbor is so flat and empty, I really felt like I needed to do something out there, because it felt like... I mean, otherwise it just feels like this is an estate dropped in the middle of nowhere, like different realm or something, and I want to at least pretend like it's something else.
Yeah.
Like it's actually part of the world. Obviously the weird blue lighting is... I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, slave sheds, very similar to the ones that I had in my Moon Sugar Meadow from the last video.
Yeah. What are these beds?
I did place the beds, yes. These are the Merkmeyer beds, carved.
Oh, I was going to say I don't think I've ever seen them, but I think it's because you've hidden the back.
Yeah, I have.
Mm.
Because the back looks very Argonian with
Yeah.
you know, that part of it, so I just slid that a little bit forward and hid it in the wall. And you also have a ball of yarn there, which has to be there. It's an inside joke in my guild. Because we had a Khajiit slave who played with the balls of yarn. So
Yeah.
now they always have to be there. And these two look the same, so nothing really to see.
Yeah.
And then we've got my lazy crafting area, which is mostly for my own convenience sake, but I also tried to make it look, you know, alright anyway.
Mm. Oh, it does. It looks cool. It's like really neat. It's got like the bits underneath the shelves.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way to fill up underneath those shelves.
Yeah, thanks. And you can reach all of these chests, though in order to reach this one I have to stand up here, which is slightly awkward. But it works, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one who's using those, obviously, so it's fine.
Yeah, this is really cool. What have you used for this fireplace?
For this fireplace, I'm using two Solitude fireplaces that are both upside down and placed on top of each other.
Oh, yeah.
The full Solitude fireplace is obviously way too tall for this very confined place. It would just stick up and look very weird. So I placed them upside down and made them smaller. And you also have the statue-based circular, which is a Luxbender item. That's the chimney part of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's cool. Is that the New Life fire that's giving off all that smoke?
Yes, yes. I have a soft spot for those. There's just so much smoke.
Yeah, they do have a lot.
And the helmet is a trophy of Hiath, however you pronounce that, the Battle Master, which is the Dragonstar Arena trophy.
Mm. Very nice. What have you done for the top of these walls?
Yeah, that's alien tables
Oh, yeah.
that are turned upside down, and they are an integral part of the architecture of this place. I use, let's see, how many of them do I use? I think I use like 100 of them for the entire build.
Wow.
No, only 80.
Wow, that's still a lot.
Yeah, I have a friend who does most of my crafting for me, so when I asked him to make me 80 alien tables, he sent me a message and was like, are you sure about this? Did you do it right?
No.
I'm impressed. Yeah, it would seem like a very strange order. I totally understand that. Well, let's go inside. Yeah, and I also have used the new pathing system to make the NPCs wander around. Which looks
Yeah,
kind of funny, but
Yeah.
it also isn't entirely useful to have your banker and merchant wander around because I can never find them.
Yeah. It definitely makes it feel more alive when you've got NPCs
Yeah.
walking around.
Thinking, let's actually go in this way.
Okay. Wow.
So you've got your little parlor here. Unfortunately, there's a bug going on at the moment where some seats don't work.
Yeah.
It's normally you can sit down on these.
I've noticed the seat bug.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
I got irrationally angry over it when that happened the first time.
It is frustrating.
Yeah.
What is this door?
This door is actually also those Redguard counters.
That's
But
a
it's-
really nice door.
It's the backside of the counter, or the underside of the counter. Yeah, it has a very nice texture. I really like that.
It does. The red guard counter.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
notice that. It's really
around
nice.
it, of course, the Alinor sarcophagus.
Yeah, that's really nice.
The handle being a Redoran stool. Yeah, I agree. It's a very nice texture. At first, I was going to use the same sort of door as outside, but then it looked too rough for the indoors.
Mm. Yeah, I've never seen the bottom of that before. It's really nice.
It is, yeah. So we have a little shrine to Almsivi, the three living gods that the Dunmer pray to at this day and age.
That's cool.
And my favorite U-shaped tables that I totally do not use everywhere, promise.
Was this the Lux item? The shrine. It's really kind
No.
of cute.
No, this is it's an achievement furniture that you get in Vivek City.
Ah, it's just really cute.
It definitely is.
Oops.
Dodge roll.
These stairs. I
Yeah.
can't figure out what they are.
They are the dwarven altar stairs, but they've been turned sideways and also pushed into the wall so that you can't see the altar part of the altar stairs.
Mm.
Because the dwarven altar stairs have this dwarven lump on top of them, basically, that makes them practically useless for anything unless you have to be pretty clever about how you use them.
Mm. They fit really
But they've
well.
also been turned sideways. Yeah, that's a really nice thing about these stairs is you can turn them sideways and you can still walk up them,
Mm.
and that makes some really steep stairs. They are much steeper than any other stairs in the game.
Oh, that is handy. They fit in really well here with the black as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I mean, they are also not straight, which of course hurts my OCD mind. But since the entire building is slanted in different ways, I just
Mm.
figured that what the heck,
Yeah,
it works.
They look great. The ones
So
below, I think they look kind of
upstairs-
cool how they're not completely straight.
Yeah, thanks. And upstairs we have the office and library.
What lighting did you use in here for the blue?
The blue lighting is actually coming from outside,
Oh, is it?
or kind of from outside. You might have noticed those symbols or the blue part of the,
Oh,
I'd like
yeah.
to say
I did-
windows, but
Yeah, I did notice those. The crystals.
I'm not sure if they actually look like windows. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be windows in the fan art, but it was kind of difficult to make them actually look like windows.
Mm.
Anyways, those blue things. So you see the back of them here, and that's where the blue is coming from.
Yeah.
So that's just coincidental, honestly. I would like to say I had a clever plan, but no.
This is cool.
These ones aren't broken, so you can sit here. That's nice.
Yeah, that's good. It's strange how they've broken the seats.
Yeah, it's a very strange bug, and I'm told that it even broke some of the seats out in the normal world too. So
Wow, really?
yeah, I have no idea what's going on with that.
It is annoying. Yeah, this is such a cool house. I can't imagine where you get your ideas from. They're just they're so unique.
Well, for this one in particular, I've literally put a picture of where I got my ideas.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the kitchen.
I like this sink.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. It might even have been one of your videos which showed a sink like this.
Yeah, I remember seeing this this thing used before. What is it? The dye station.
Yeah, yeah. It's the dye station, and then it's a mirror that's been placed.
Yeah, the mirror is like actually a really clever way to save slots.
Yeah, it is.
So when you try
And
use...
it's also
Sorry, carry on.
yeah, no, it's also very useful because you can then use a counter that's not actually hollowed out because you've got the mirror there, so you only need to lower the counter a couple of pixels to make it work.
Oh dear. Sorry, 1 second.
Hello, dog.
Yeah, I can imagine it saves a lot of slots. Definitely making a sink with a mirror.
Yeah.
I know when you try and use the new trough, it takes up a lot of slots.
Yeah, it's also really big.
It is huge. Oh, this is cool.
There's the cellar door. I might actually build something that's supposed to be the cellar at one point, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I like using that as a way to get around slot limits, just cut off parts of the house that I'm probably not going to need much and...
Mm.
Yeah. Like you could see the door up there. It's supposed to be the bedrooms, and I've started working on that. Haven't finished it yet though, so it's just a fake door.
Yeah. It's a cool idea.
And then you've also got the totally super secret room back there. I should place something to cover the door and make it slightly more secret, but I haven't got around to it. And yeah, this is Fight Club, and I seem to have broken the first rule of Fight Club here by talking about it. I'm sorry.
Are these the Merc My ladders you've used
Yeah,
for the game?
yes. Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
I actually struggled a whole lot about this, because at first I wanted to use one of the cages turned upside down, because I figured that would save slots. But it just turned out ever so slightly too small. Like, it looked like two people standing inside that cage, or that fight ring, would basically just have to hug each other forever and be friends, because there wasn't enough room to fight. This is, of course, way less slot efficient, but had to be done. I built this before I built my the last house, the fighting pit.
Yeah.
So you can see that I was already thinking about it.
Yeah. Really cool. This is such a unique house.
Thank you.
How long did you say it took you to build?
I don't even know. Months and months, probably. The thing is, I started building the house, and like when I didn't have the gatehouse as the entrance, I just had the whole thing sort of some distance away from the portal. And the house looked completely different. It was way bigger and just not as good. So I've built this house probably several times in slightly different iterations because I just wasn't happy with it. And all of the straightening and fixing and like so many shenanigans to make it work.
These are the windows you meant.
Yeah.
How did you get the orcish platforms to be triangular?
That's unfortunately not an easy question because those things rotate in really weird ways. Like their center of rotation is incredibly odd. But basically what I did was I placed something else that had a more reasonable rotational axis next to them. And I grouped those items together, and then I tilted the group by, tilting the parent item. And that's actually something that I've also done for these little rocks here. Like you can see the stonework here. They are actually Alanor stairways, but turned on their side to only use the rocky part of it. So obviously tilting them just right is an absolute nightmare because their center of rotation is somewhere around where I'm standing now.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was I placed a plank along this side of it, and I grouped them together, and then I tilted the plank. And that just made it a whole lot easier and more precise.
Yeah, some things do turn really strangely.
Yeah. I can't blame the stairs because, they are stairs. They're not walkway rocks. But the orcish counter, that's a weird one.
You have a lot of guas.
I do, yes. I collect them. I love them.
They are cute. Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. I like all the big mushrooms.
Oh, I think we missed the infirmary. No, it's honestly not that interesting. It's another of those rooms that I just felt a estate needed to have, so I put some minimal effort into it and just plonked it down there. It's not at all as detailed as the Fighting Pits infirmary. This one just has, a couple of beds, a desk, a tiny bit of alchemy, and operating stretcher
thing. I still don't understand how you made those. I know you explained it, but it's just going over my head.
OCD. Also a lot of OCD.
Wow. This whole place is just incredible. Like, you must be so proud of this. I would be so proud of this if it was mine.
Well, you have a lot of really cool houses too. I know you're being overly modest about it, so now it's my turn to be overly modest.
It's just amazing.
Thank you. Okay, and for our final entry,
Yep.
we're just going to go to the guardhouse, which is supposedly in this building, though it's just way bigger than it should be, because the house is fairly small, and I wasn't going to constrain myself that much.
So what house is this?
This is the Gardner house, though you would be forgiven for not realizing. The Gardner house is a Breton-style house, but I have just covered every single wall with these Alinor walls to make it look like it actually is a part of the Dress estate that we just left.
Yeah, that's cool.
And again, all of the alien tables as the upper part of the wall.
Yeah. So did you have to ask your crafter for more?
Yeah, I did. And he was like, okay, are you sure you're done this time? No more of them? That's a conversation that happened. Love him to bits.
It's really cool how you make your houses all linked together. That's a really nice idea.
So here we have the guard hall.
I like the kettle.
Yeah, I think I stole that idea from someone else again. I'm not entirely sure who, so I'm terribly sorry, person who did not get appropriate credit.
It's a cool idea.
Let's go left first. This is yet another use of the solitude doors, where one of them opens and the other closes.
I like the way that you've made the top of the door as well. That's really nice.
Yeah,
Something
that's an idea I got from you, actually, because I saw you just used
Really?
4 blocks. Yeah, you used 4 blocks for your, I think it was your Stillwater where you used 4 blocks to create an arch
Yeah.
for the door, and I just thought,
mine didn't
well,
match though. Yours looks perfect.
well, you can just use any sort of stones for it, really, and it's still the idea.
Yeah.
So here we have the guard quarters, clearly, it's where they sleep, and we were talking about sinks the other day, so yeah, this is a slightly pricier and it's more slot-intense sink, but then I don't have to worry about it in this house, because this house has 600 slots, and usually it has 3 floors in the garden that you're supposed to use for those 6 slots, but I only use 2 of the floors.
Nice. How many slots are you at?
I'm on 444, so plenty to go.
Wow. I need to get one of these. They're so cute. I don't know what I'd use it for, but
Heresy, probably. Yes. We have Vivek, we have Almalexia, and Sothasil. Vivek's in the middle, Sothasil on the left. Sorry, Sothasil on the right, and Almalexia on the left.
it's just so cute. Look how it looks like it's opened up. It's just so sweet. I like it.
Yeah, that's very true. I wish you could open and close them. That would be pretty cool.
That would be.
And here's my armory.
Your weapon rack is amazing.
Yeah, that was a weird little cobble that took way too long.
It's great. What did you use for it?
The bottom part of it is a Redoran table.
Mm.
You can possibly just glimpse the weird little turtle pattern going on, and it's placed upside down to sort of create a box-like thing for the swords to go into.
Mm.
And then I've just used different shelves, essentially. You have 1 Indoril shelf, 2 dress shelves. Actually, I think it's 2 Indoril shelves.
Mm.
And let's see, the dark elf street posts that the spears are resting on to make those shelves.
Ah.
And the swords are made up of orcish daggers or orcish knives.
Yeah, they're really cool.
And each sword is 2 orcish knives, because obviously the knife is not sword length.
Mm.
So you've got the second one that's below the other one, and it's hidden behind the shelf part. So if you jump up here, you can just barely see that something's wrong.
Oh. I think, in a way, I feel like we should have weapons and stuff in the game, but then people wouldn't come up with these really crazy cool ideas.
Well, maybe that's their plan all along. Just give it a couple of years for people to come up with crazy ideas, and then give us the real thing.
Yeah, maybe. It's very cool.
Thank you.
That weapon rack must have taken up a lot of slots.
Probably, yeah. Like 20, 30 something, probably. I'm not sure. But again, slots is not a concern in here, so I can allow myself to go crazy.
Yeah.
I think another really fun part about creating custom builds with where you make all the walls and such is you can fit the terrain perfectly to what you want to do.
Definitely.
Like for instance, you have these are actually made of cages. Like you have 2 cages turned on their side to create this. And I mean they clip into the wall and they use, like if I move them just a little bit they would stick out of the wall. So I literally moved the wall to fit the cage, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. What did you use for the top? Because it just blends in. Is that part of the cage?
No, those are the common flagpoles. And if you look really closely, you can see like the spiky bit of it up here.
Yeah.
It sort of
I never
sticks
really
out.
noticed that. They just fit perfectly with this cage.
They do have this exact same texture, so that was a really nice discovery. I'm pretty sure someone else has already done it, and I probably just got the idea from them.
It looks
It's usually the case. Oh, yeah, and I'm using the exact same vampiric cabinets on top of sink too. I just love the new vampiric stuff. It looks like really gothic and nice, and all the details. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I like it. It's like a nicer version of the Eleanor stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Although if you blend them together, they look really nice, honestly. I mean, some of the Eleanor stuff is wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the vampiric. I'm gonna have to do that at some point. If I can get myself away from the Dark Elf stuff for 5 minutes.
It would be fun to build an Altmer house that's not enormous.
So here you've got the second door, which leads to the Inquisitor's office. And the Inquisitor also lives here, not like here under the stairs, not with the common rabble.
I love that. It's just this cutest thing. Like, the roof, like it's actually like a little under the stairs little nook. It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, mostly the reason that I used the Solitude roof for this was because I needed more detail on the slanted doorway. Because the stairs to this house are actually right here. Like this is the stairs that leads to the upstairs of the Gardner estate, the Gardner house. So at first I just had this completely blocked off, but then I discovered that I needed the space, so might as well. And here's another carpet that looks like one, but is actually 2.
Wow, yeah, you're definitely going to have to make some videos explaining how to do things like that. And how to make orcish platforms triangular.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are triangular orcish platforms. So those already exist. It's just
Do
they
they?
rotate. Yeah, they exist.
Well, I didn't know this.
Sorry, I thought you knew. Yeah, it's the orcish counter corner.
Oh, my word, yes.
That exists.
Yes, it does. I'm just being stupid. Yeah, that's me.
Again, it rotates awkwardly, but it exists.
And I guess it does. It just fits in perfectly with the orcish platform.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I used a couple of those as well with that fighting pit actually to make because everything is orcish floor over there, but I also used some of the triangular ones around the fighting pit because that's an octagonal shape, so I needed some diagonal stuff. And I could have obviously just twisted a normal orcish platform, but then you would have been able to tell, and I like it seamless.
You have hooks in your library. Why do you have hooks in your library?
Because the Inquisitor is living here, and the Inquisitor is taking care of the prison that's downstairs.
Ah.
So, therefore, the Inquisitor has a bunch of nasty stuff to sort of foreshadow the nastier stuff that's coming down below. So this is where we enter into the dark underbelly of my imagination again.
Yep.
So just go ahead, don't worry about a thing.
Oh, I love it so much. Oh, I love the creepiest stuff. It's great.
Thank you.
It just does look so dark and like creepy. It's really great.
does.
I love it.
The contrast with the upstairs is very striking.
Definitely. You don't expect to come down here and see this.
Yeah, you've got the beautiful white walls, and then you come down here and it's dark and dingy and cobwebs and stuff. Oh, I also by accident discovered something rather weird. See these stockades here that I have turned sideways?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, these benches underneath them are still usable.
That's actually amazing. That is really bizarre.
It's very strange, but I'm certainly not complaining.
I'm too small for it.
Yeah, I built them specifically for this character because he's very average height, but if you're not average, they're going to be slightly wrong, unfortunately.
It's such a cool thing. Yeah, that is really great. I love that.
I think this is a primary example for why I think benches and chairs should just be usable everywhere. I mean, what's the
Yeah.
worst thing that could happen, Zenimax? Worst case scenario, we clip ourselves through a wall and
Have to go.
get stuck in the house and have to press F5 to go back to the entrance.
Yeah, I'd love that. You could like put a stool inside any item you wanted to use as a seat. That would be great.
That would be amazing.
It would. We should be able to do these things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, got some chains here for whipping.
Very nice.
I intentionally placed a candle in the wall behind them because it was really hard to see them before, but with the candle behind the wall, they really catch the light and glimmer ominously.
I like this light as well because it's only giving off like a really small amount of red. It's not too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I experimented with because first I was a bit worried that it was going to be too dark down here, so I placed some of the Hlalu salt lamps inside these, and like the Hlalu salt lamps actually fit perfectly inside the lantern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, only a very small part of them stick out, and it still looks perfectly natural. So you can absolutely put a salt lamp in this to get more light.
Oh,
But-
that's good to know.
They had the opposite problem. They were too much light, and suddenly this place looked very dark and went from being very dark to being very bright and almost sultry in a way because of all the happy red lights. And that was not my intention. This is an unpleasant torture dungeon. Thank you very much. Speaking of torture dungeon, we have that coming up next.
Wow.
This is very similar to what I did at my old Velothi in the last video.
Oh, I love it. It's great. I love this.
Thank you.
It's so creepy. Like you can imagine some psycho in here getting happy with the hammer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've read up too much on medieval torture techniques and just such things in general, and like one of the things that people, unfortunately, in real life actually took into consideration when it came to that sort of stuff was just the psychological aspect of it. So that's why torturers would generally have all their tools out on display, because they want their victim to see the stuff. They
Yeah.
want them to see them, they want them to imagine how much it's going to hurt, and all of that.
And the brain and eyes on the show as well.
Yeah.
And what did you use for this rope?
This is an orcish shelter, shingled, and it has this rope thing sticking out on one side, so most of it is just hidden in the wall.
Yeah, that's really cool, because you don't have enough ropes. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah. We need more ropes. Get on it, Cinemax.
Yeah, this is amazing. It's so cool. I just love all of the creepy things in this game. I think they have so much atmosphere. I love it.
They do have a lot of creepy things, this is true. You've got the skeleton on the wall, you've got the cobwebs. Like, the cobwebs really do so much for the atmosphere. It's
They
great.
do. And even like things like the smoke coming off of the brazier and like the
Yeah.
really subtle red light. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So I
this
think
the
that concludes the tour. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, this candle. Is this one that comes from the I can't remember what she's called, the shadowy supplier.
yes.
Do you know, I
Yes,
speak
it
to
is.
her every day and she never gives me anything like this. It's
Yeah,
great.
I have 8 characters who have level 4 in Dark Brotherhood, which is when you get the Shadowy Supplier. So I just spent a week or so just going to the Shadowy Supplier every single day. So I have a couple of those lying around now, actually.
Nice. Yeah, they are cool.
They are
Nice.
very cool. I really like them.
Yes.
The way that it's like the candle is running down partway over the skull, this makes it even better, and I like that.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, this is another really cool house. And I love the chains on the chair.
Ah, yes. It is, again, 2 stockades so that you can sit in it.
Yeah, that's
Thank
really
you
cool.
very much for coming, and if you have any further questions, please go ahead.
Okay, I do. So how long did this house take you to build? Or, yeah.
That's I don't know. It was definitely not the painstaking project that the last one was, because it's just much smaller and more confined. But it also wasn't thrown together in a week like the first one.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks probably. Like it didn't take me very long at all to create like the confines of it, the walls and that stuff, because that was a very sort of it's played to my strengths, so to say, the just being meticulous and making sure that everything's straight. But
Yeah.
then when it came to furnishing it, I was just I ran into a couple of roadblocks and just had to take a break and get back to it again. So it's very hard to answer.
And where did your inspiration for this house come from? Like, how were you inspired to make this creepy prison?
Too personal a question, mate. No, I mean, I obviously already have my Veloci Reverie, so part of the inspiration for it was I just wanted another one of those, but one that suited the aesthetic of my new dress estate. So the white and black colors. So that was probably the primary inspiration for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just guess I have a soft spot for medieval torture and that kind of things. I find it very interesting, which is kind of ironic because like modern torture technique makes me incredibly squeamish. Like I don't like that at all. because it's just too real.
Mm.
It's way too real, and I don't like torture being real. I I like it in stories where it's a dramatic aspect, just a dramatic turning point and whatever. But
Yeah.
the reality of it is absolutely horrifying.
So, like, yeah, when you think about it in history, it's a different, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. When I think about it in history and fantasy and those kinds of contexts, then I find it really interesting and titillating, I suppose.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
definitely.
And you've got the whole slaver thing going on, of course, so prisons and cells and dingy corners. And I like to imagine some of my roleplay characters sitting in a cell and feeling terrible.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. But yeah, I think everybody should visit your houses in person because they're awesome.
Thank you.
Like, it's really good seeing videos of people's houses, but it's different when you're actually there, I think.
Yeah. Well, everyone is most welcome to visit my houses. I think I have them all set to at least limited visitor, and this one I think is visitor by default. Because otherwise it would be a bit pointless, because if you can't open the doors you can't see 90% of the house.
Yeah. They're really amazing. Yeah, I think that's everything, unless there's anything else you want to say about any of them.
I think I've mostly covered it.
Okay.
Another shout out to Tamriel Rebuilt and Favelin for the amazing art.
Yes, I will put that in the
Guys
description.
are awesome.
I'll put the link to that in the description, and I'll list Spellslinger's houses as well.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah,
And thanks
you.
for coming again. I really love your videos and your creator series.
Yeah.
Letting the creators talk about their houses. It's what
Yeah.
we really love to do, I think. Just
Yeah. And thank you for letting me come and visit. It was good fun.
thank you.
And your houses are awesome as always.
Thank you.
Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing these beautiful houses as much as I did. I will put the link in the description for the artwork that Spellslinger mentioned, and I shall also list the houses that I visited today. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.